Hey, this is Notser, and this is the Tier 7 German cruiser Yorck. It has 8 main guns, 8 secondary guns, 36 AA guns, 12 torpedoes at top speed at 32 knots, total health 27,200. For my modules, reduced crit chance on main battery, faster turret traverse, lower chance of flood and fire, and faster rudder shift. For my commander, situation awareness, basic firing training, lower cooldown on damage control, superintendent, and last stand. We are on the map Northern Lights, and I bet you didn't think you'd see the Yorck. It's not really a ship that most people find success in, but for some reason I found success in this game, so I wanted to share it. Now I'm headed straight for the trunk. The little elephant, right? That's what it is. It's a little elephant with 2 big ears. It couldn't possibly be anything else. And I have my aircraft up. I'm going to scout on the other side. It's, North 101. Get your cruiser or get a ship that has the ability to send out aircraft and scout the enemy on the other side. We see an enemy at Tonga, we fire on it, but that's not our priority. Our priority is to head into the island and eventually prevent enemy destroyers from pushing forward or eliminating enemy destroyers. The quality of the video might be a little bit lower. I'm trying QuickSync. QuickSync is a encoder that basically uses Intel's onboard graphics processing unit that's built into the die of CPUs now. I believe the last 3 generations have made use of this, and usually this just sits idle because most people have a dedicated graphics processing unit. You can enable it in the BIOS and use it to encode. It's not as clean looking, at least initially. I have to do a lot of tweaks, as X264, which is what I've been using, but it uses far less CPU, and CPU usage for World of Warships isn't that high, so it's not for this game that I'm trying to have QuickSync work. It's for another game that is taking full advantage of both my GPU and CPU, and I want to maintain at least 60 FPS in that game. This was mostly just a test, and we're engaging the Nagato at full range. I have HE loaded. I really believe in fires. They do a ton of damage, and it's free damage. It also makes the target susceptible to other sources of flood and fire. And we get our first fire. So he allows us to stick initially. I'm like, okay, either he's looking for 2, or he doesn't have damage control. I didn't see him take, and we get a second fire. Okay, he's got to use damage control, right? 2 fires is 500 points of damage a second. It's way too high, right? But he's just let himself burn, and he's about to move out of range, so we're going to have to adjust, either move closer or change to a different target. And yeah, he's just let himself burn. Yeah, I gotta believe that he just allowed himself to burn. He used his damage control very late on 2 fires, and I would just completely disagree with that. 2 fires, if you have damage control up, you need to use it. So he's moved out of range. We fire on the Cleveland boat. Oh no! It's an enemy farragut. We knew he was in the area, but we didn't know he was right there. So I fully expect torpedoes to come my way. I have all my guns ready, and we fire. We do 7,000 points of damage with HE, and we incapacitate something, which he probably has to use damage control on. We sent out our torpedoes because initially he was within the 6 kilometers. Here they come. Yep. Man, he must have held them really long. And we're moving away, moving away. We follow up. 3,000, so 10,000 points of damage on the enemy farragut. Come on, reload. Reload. Let's take him out. And our torpedoes don't hit him. We're going to avoid his torpedoes. We fire, and friendly finishes off the farragut. Yeah, I would have preferred the kill, but at least he's dead. So there's an enemy New Orleans fighting a friendly farragut. Friendly farragut sends out torpedoes. The Nagato's very low. He's basically out of the game. He has to be very passive. And the farragut has basically broken line of sight with the enemy New Orleans. I think he's used his smoke. And I have no idea the health pool of the New Orleans at this point. I wasn't paying full attention, and I don't know if the torpedoes are successful, right? We do have the friendly turrets. Row, row, row your boat. He's the one who took the kill, but hey, we got the kill as a team. I check with the Farragut the health of the enemy New Orleans, because I initially felt like I could take him out. But I'm going to move with the Tirpitz. We have a friendly destroyer. We basically counter anything that's coming our way. It's a solid push, and one that we need to take full advantage of. I'm trying to maneuver myself so I am not closer than the Tirpitz. It is important to do these sort of things in the German cruisers. You have great range, probably the best range of any cruiser in the game. You need to treat battleships like meat shields, and as long as you are not the closest one, most people will go for the closest target, even if they have to do double the damage for the target. It's a unique phenomenon that I see in this game. I don't know if everyone considers the health pool of the target, like the actual numbers. And of course, enemy torpedo bombers incoming. We use defensive fire. We focus down the closest one, trying to take him out before he drops, and he drops on both of us. And you can see the inaccuracy due to defensive fire, but we need to turn our butt. Oh, come on, get out of the way. Oh, God. That was really close. Really close, but we are able to avoid the torpedoes. The New Orleans shows up, and our turrets are not in position, so we're rotating. We do have HE loaded, unfortunately. Whenever you see a broadside cruiser, and you are a cruiser, especially a German cruiser, you want that AP. So we fire everything, and then we switch to AP. I made a conscious decision to fire those last two, wait, maybe 5 seconds for it to rotate, just so I can be as efficient with my ammo as possible. And the New Orleans is not changing his angling at all. This is easy if I can just aim correctly. I need to lead the target a little bit more. Notser, let's do this. Come on. We're about to run into an island, so we need to kill him quickly. Or we're only going to have access to our front guns. We fire, and we have to angle. We do 7k between the first two salvos of AP. It's okay. We should be able to kill this guy 7 kilometers away. Come on, Notser. Get the water line. Oh, that was ugly as hell. Ugh. This New Orleans should be dead. You can't show your side like this and expect to live. And we fire our front. We get a citadel, yes. Back her in position, and we fire again. Are we going to be able to kill him? Yes, another citadel, and we have dominated this side of the map. We can move into A, put pressure on the enemy, force them to come back. Enemy Nagato, the one we were harassing before, is forced to come back. He's very low. He has done very little for the amount of damage he has sustained, and part of that is not using damage control correctly or optimally. You need to put out the 2 fires. You can't hold it. You hold it for 1, generally, but you put out for the second one immediately. You can't afford 500 points of damage a second. As you can see, he uses damage control to put out the double fires that were on his deck, and I think it's a little too late for that at this point. We're firing HE, looking for that fire at super long range. Could potentially use AP because the Germans have really crappy HE, but we're doing fine. We're doing everything we need to do. We're minimizing the amount of damage. We're supporting our battleship and our destroyers, and we're doing pretty solid damage. That's really all I could ask for in the Yorck. Anyone who's played this ship understands. It's a piece of crap. It is a unique beast. And he gets another fire. We have not set a fire. Are we going to get the kill? Is a friendly going to get the kill? We probably did the most damage overall to the ship, but we haven't done the most in this moment, and friendly finishes off with the fire. I believe that Farragut is the guy that got it, so, fine with that. Cool. Everyone is succeeding. Enemy Cleveland is also in the area, showing a side. We fire HE. We switch to AP. Perfectly broadside, 4K and a fire. Another perfectly broadside, and you're going to see something very interesting. Look at how different the velocity is. And very nearly the exact same shot, same angling, and it looks like AP is slower than HE, doesn't it? I didn't change at all. If anything, I was moving towards the target, so it should have been further up the ship, but it does appear that it will travel at a slower rate. It does look like it comes out of the gun fast. but it just doesn't look like it's landing in the right spot based on the velocity that is apparently supposed to be the advantage. I swap back to HE because the Cleveland is at a harsh angle. You don't really want to use AP on a target that is angled, committed to avoiding damage. Any target that isn't committed is fair game, but a target like that Cleveland, he was committed to avoiding dying to me. So HE it is. You don't get to decide these things. It's all based on the angling, and friendlies finish off the enemy, and everyone's just dropping like flies. We only have, well, 3. We did have a second destroyer, and he died, but we've gone up against multiple enemies, and they've been staggering in, and I was like, turpits. I was like, I really would not want to be in front of the turpits. I want to be behind him. I think he's using me as damage absorption, which is, I understand that. But really, the Yorck can't take damage. So battleships should be a little bit closer. Then maybe they feel comfortable, so they take a little bit of damage. You don't want to do this all the time, but when you have support, like a German cruiser, keep in mind that they just can't sustain damage. They can do a ton of damage to help you out. So tank it. Tank for them. Enemy torpedo bombers are incoming, and I was moving to assist the friendly destroyer because I felt like they were going straight for him to stop the cap. So we activate defensive fire. We set the lowest squadron, or the closest squadron, first, and we're able to take one out. Looks like he missed completely on the friendly destroyer. Yeah, I don't know how that's happened, but yes, we were able to help our team. I don't think it really mattered at that point, but 2 enemy aircraft defeated. Maybe he doesn't have access to that in the future. Not very likely. High tier carriers have a ton of aircraft. Enemy Amagi with, I don't believe he has an upgrade at all. That looks like a very stock Amagi. And with that understanding, I could kind of expect that he's not going to know every single detail to maximize the damage he does, minimize the damage he takes, and overall be the solid Amagi that we all know can exist, right? Now, the enemy Alba is also a target that I could engage. He's coming out from the protection of the island. We drop out momentarily, but the detection of our ship is within the Alba. We need to engage him. We need to avoid that fatal shot. And to do that, I'm going to try and stay as far away and kill him as fast as possible. We're showing a lot of our side. The Alba's still not interested in us. Oh, I think he's coming right on top of us. Yep, here comes the fire. We don't really do HE damage to the target. Oh yes, friendly does a ton of damage, and we should be able to follow up and finish him off. And we're gonna follow the HE into the target. Yes! That was not our kill, but that makes up for the 2 kills that I believe were ours. We earned those kills. So 2 kills for us, kill for the ally over here, 2 kills for the friendly destroyer. So we have just done so much. I don't know how successful the western side of the map has been, but I would say maybe not that much. Maybe 2 ships killed. We've killed 1, 2, 3, 4 ships here. Then we had that 5th destroyer. 6. We killed 6 as a team over in this side of the map. So yeah. Yeah, very solid. Very solid. Enemy Alba shows up again. Another Alba. It's a solid ship, but I think I can out-duel the enemy Alba. We're trying to move in range. Enemy New York. Interesting. Probably a really awful game for a New York. Being in a high-tier game where stuff is way faster than you, or very nearly, is not fun in a ship that only goes 21 knots. So we are finally in range of the Alba. We can engage him with our guns. We initially had HE loaded. We swapped to AP because we felt like we were going to see his side, but unfortunately, he's coming mostly right at us. So we're trying to get that straight shot. Apparently straight shot should work just fine, right? Haven't really had a lot of success with it. 1 single AP shell makes contact, but It ricochets off harmlessly. He sets us on fire. We're too low. We have to put the fire out. And we're trying to lead him. He's coming towards us faster than we were predicting. And this is getting into the point where we really need to kill him before he kills us. And he turns. He avoids the AP, but he's broadside. Can we finish this guy off? We're ready to fire, and we unload broadside on the enemy Alba. And that would have been a kill for us too. But good job, ally. He gets the kill on the Alba. We're still alive. That's really that matters, right? And this game was just so solid. The side that was able to push succeeded far beyond what I expected, and part of that I think is the balanced team that we had. We were able to capture the base without being spotted, take out enemy torpedo bombers and dive bombers with defensive fire, and also do a ton of damage at range between the Tirpitz and the Yorck. So enemy aircraft carrier and enemy battleship are all that is left. This aircraft carrier has sustained no damage. Hopefully we will be the first. I committed to going after the aircraft carrier because I felt like the Tirpitz could go 1v1 against a stock Amagi. And we're able to do very nearly 8k damage, barely under 8k. And we fire again, of course. We have AP loaded, we're looking for those citadels. We're trying to walk it up towards the engine. We get 9k on that salvo. Nice. And we're slowly moving towards him. He's slowly moving away. I noticed this, and I'm going to adjust my heading slightly. I'm going to move towards him. Maybe give up a little bit of my back guns, but I'm not going to lose ground on this guy. Remember, high-tier aircraft carriers are surprisingly fast. They are among the fastest ships on the map. This is in a time when battleships were being built to keep up with the aircraft carrier. The U.S. battleship line is basically an example of ships that existed before aircraft carriers and after, with the speed improvement. So that's gotta keep full speed ahead. I probably have a knot, maybe 2 knots on this guy, and I have to commit to going right at him. I cannot have too much of my side showing because I would be moving away from him. And friendly takes out the enemy Amagi. Can we kill the enemy aircraft carrier before the game ends? He's doing everything in his power to run away, and we're doing everything in our power to kill him. This guy is almost on the border, and he disappears, actually. We need allies to scout him. Nobody's closer than me, and I'm probably right at the edge of detection for this ship. I would love the friendly aircraft carrier to move closer with his aircraft. Anytime, please. Anytime at all. It's like, what? There's nothing else to do. Just keep him spotted and kill him. Like, what are you trying to do? You trying to hide him so you can get an attack on? I don't understand why aircraft carriers are so against scouting. But eventually, I believe we move within detection. We are now the detector. And he's not going to run away. Someone gets an HE shot on him, sets his deck on fire. It's all over, though. Who's going to get the kill? We get a salvo. 5k. Yes. We could theoretically kill him with this shot. Is this going to be it? There's 35 seconds in the match. Definitely should be it. Are we going to get the kill? Yes. So, solid Yorck game on Northern Lights. 3 kills, couple citadel penetrations, a lot of fires, and just solid play. Solid ship. Every situation I felt really comfortable with our decision making. 2,391 XP. Maybe adjusting the ammo type a little bit more would have netted a little bit more damage, but I mean, 120,000 points of damage in the Yorck is pretty good, okay? I hope you enjoyed this game. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.